Hello everyone, I hope you can see us. It's the SewOver50 live. Getting Judith in now. Hopefully that will work.
Hi.
Ah, she's there.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes,
Perfect.
I can tell you that you're in dark Edinburgh now, and I'm
Yeah,
in Queensland.
I know. It's a bit dull today.
It
It's
is.
rather
I
dull.
checked your temperature. It's only a maximum 10 today, and we've got
Oh,
30.
10's fine. That's warm.
I wouldn't go outside. How are you, Judith?
I'm fine, feeling a bit nervous with live, as we always do, don't we?
We do. This is only our second one. So for those who've just come in, you might have seen our quick little 30-second practice so that we could just build up our confidence. And as I was saying, yeah,
And make sure it works.
And make sure it works, make sure we have a connection. And we're not the practice ones like Molly and Bird. So, well, if you're not familiar with SewOver50, I'm Sandy from Sunny Days 06, and this is Judith, founder of SewOver50, and we commenced in 2018. And our purpose was to promote older sewers within the community and increase visibility. One of our main tags is Sew Over Ageism, which is a very popular one. Now, before we start, we'll just wait for people to come on. I'm going to mention the mini challenge that we have at the moment that's extremely successful, already over 300 entries since Thursday, and that's our hashtag SO50 Mini Me. And it's celebrating our 45,000 followers that we achieved this week. And we're already up to 45,250 since Thursday. So it's great to have so many followers with us, not necessarily over 50. And what we're asking people is to post a photo of their younger selves. And a lot of people are coming through with some marvellous stories. So I'm taking my time to get to these. So bear with me. Our main tag, SewOver50, is lagging behind, and I'm not sure whether we'll get back to there, but we do have to balance our work-life schedule, which we're going to talk about in a minute as well. We've currently got 90 people viewing, which is marvellous. What's going to happen is that we will save this video, and I always think that's magic within itself that we can do that, and I hope I don't muck it up, Judith. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
But what we're going to do is ask that normally Molly and Bird, who run the live, ask for you to press the little question box. So, but what we've got today is if you have any comments as we go along with our live, if you could just put it in the comment. And we've got Maria, who's Velo Sews or Sew Organised Style podcast. She's in Sydney at the moment, and she's going to take down your questions and comments, and we're going to bring her in at the end, and she will ask us questions. It'll be like a Q&A, and we'll deal with that at the end, and hopefully answer some of your questions to clarify what we're going to talk about. How does that sound, Judith?
Sounds fine. Yeah, Maria's very good of Maria to step in. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So yes, I think we've got a little bit of a script here. SewOver50. So I think I'm right there. We've got everything. So just a quick thank you to the Fold Line who stepped up and are giving a £45 voucher for that challenge, which is lovely. The 45 is rather serendipitous with the 45,000 we've got. So that's a lovely little bonus. I'm just going to hand over to Judith now, and who's going to look at one of the reasons why we're here on the live today.
Okay, thank you, Sandy. Thanks for that introduction, and it's great how well that challenge is going. It's a really fun one, isn't it? I haven't put mine up yet, but I'm sure people are sick of seeing photos of me as a little child. I'm sure I've done it before.
I haven't got mine up yet. I haven't had time. Yeah. I said I'd do it.
No, you've been very busy. Very busy. Sandy is on duty this week, as you can see. So, so she's dealing with all the mini-me posts. So it's very, very busy for Sandy. Yeah. So yeah. So why we're here today? I've got some scripts. So just to make sure I keep to it. So I might keep looking away from the camera slightly. So we're here today to look at several ways that Sandy and I will be able to, how the account is going to progress, and how we will be able to step back from the everyday running of the account. We've got a few options of either scaling back, finding new people to help, and some of you may be out there watching, listening, or putting the account into sleeping mode whilst future options are explored. As you know, we've got 45,000 followers now. We've been going for 4.5 years, and as a lot of you realise, you can see on the post, the mini-me posts, a lot of people thanking us for the account and wondering how we manage it to do all that work. And it does involve a lot of work, a lot of hours each day and week. And after 4.5 years, it feels time for me anyway to step away for a while, because well, as Jacinda Ardern said recently, she felt she no longer has enough in the tank, and that's a little bit how I've been feeling recently. You know, it's been not hard slog. We enjoy it, but it's a lot of work. And the only way forward I could see when I started to think about this is to close the account. The hashtag's well established, and that would go forward. Connections have been made. You've all made lots of connections through the post, and that would continue. The socialists did the same bold move a year or two ago. They closed the account, which was a big shock when they did it. But we survived and moved on. However, and that everybody is probably in a bit of shock now at the thought of the account closing. But Sandy and I have been talking over for the last few months, and Sandy's been bringing in ideas, and I've been bringing in ideas. And more recently, we've spoken to others. We've spoken to Maria and Bird and Molly and Sue Young, Janine and Kate, Stitch Me a Year. We've been talking to them, and they've come forward with other possibilities and ways forward. So what we're thinking at the moment, and Sandy will come in after this in case I've not quite got this right, but initially, so until the end of March, we are going to have a sort of trial period with helpers. We've got a couple of helpers already. Maria and Bird are going to help, but we think we'll need more than that. Of going forward with some helpers, with probably less posts and stories, more helpers on the account, and a bit less diligence on the tag. So we will be trialing that. The idea is I would step away from the end of March, but though I'd be round as a consultant and, you know, might pop back in, and Sandy would oversee the trial period sort of from March, around the end of March onwards. If we find a strong enough team, then she would start to withdraw. That's right, Sandy. She would start to withdraw and be less involved in the day-to-day work. And at some point, we may hand the running of the account over to that team. But it's quite a thought, you know, it's quite a thought for Sandy and I to do that. We're not taking this lightly. We're not taking the stepping back lightly, because we know how much we're involved in the account. It'd be really hard because we love doing it. Most of all, what I've loved is watching people find the account, come in, you know, include them, and then see them connecting with other people and really getting into it. And it's such a pleasure to see that. And you know, we've loved doing it, but it's a lot of work. And I just feel I need a bit of headspace. Got other things I'm interested in getting involved in locally. Maybe after a break I would come back, but I just feel I need a bit of headspace. We know how much it all means to you. We've been here for 4.5 years, but you know, change is inevitable, and change can bring new things, and it just feels the right time for me partly for Sandy. I'll hand over to Sandy now if you want to add your thoughts and correct anything I've said that isn't right.
I imagine that there's a few people who are probably shocked that we have raised this, but by the comments on the mini-me challenge, there's been a lot of people who said, I don't know how you do it with all the workload, and it has been a workload. It has been an ultimate pleasure for us to have this account and to bring people together, because really we have made so many friends, and we know that you have as well. The socialists, as you said, were bold when they announced they were going to shut their account. In fact, I went into shock for days over that, because they were our mothership. And I feel that that's probably what's going to happen with a lot of people with SewOver50. But the SewOver50 account is more than just us putting out 3 posts a week and stories. The playground is actually the tag, and that's where you find the people and your community. And that's why it's important to tag SewOver50. And so many people have gained confidence through SewOver50. We've seen people blossom to actually putting photos up, learning about Instagram, starting podcasts, YouTubes, running challenges, so that this is the sort of thing that gives us heart that the community will live on with us or without us, because there's so much confidence now within the community. Just this week, 2 community groups started, Calgary Sews and Newcastle Hunter. And one of the groups said to me, we're going to steal all your ideas. And I couldn't have been more chuffed, because I thought, yes, this is exactly what we want. We're so happy and prepared to help you to find your way on Instagram and in the community by advancing the skills that we know, that you can take them forward, so that you're not dependent upon SewOver50, and that you have the confidence to go forward. When Judith said that she wanted to step back, I must admit I was in shock for at least a week. I think I was a little bit quiet, was I, Judith? Because Judith and I talk every day.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I just could not put into words how I felt, because I knew in my head that Judith was right, but in my heart I couldn't accept it. And I think a lot of people will be in that mode that we're betwixt about it. But we really do know that we do have to step back. And so I'm
the same, head and heart. It's the same.
Yes.
Every time I see people's comments, I think, how can I step back from this? But in my head, I know I need to for a while at least. Yeah. Carry on. Yeah. Sorry.
No. That's exactly how I was trying to put in words how I felt, and I knew that you were right. I just couldn't bring myself to accept it. So first of all, I thought, oh gosh, I can't go on without Judith, because she's my wingman, and we just stick together, and we really do need a team that has the same values as us, that will step forward, be a great team, because we have each other's backs all the time, and we have complete confidence and faith within each other. And that takes time to build, and we were lucky that we did find each other early in this journey of SewOver50. So, but as I say, SewOver50 is more than just the account. It is the tag, and that's where you find people. So that's, if you do think that you want to step forward, get in contact. It might be that it's a specialty area that we're thinking that you would do a post a month, something like this. We're just going to bounce around a lot of ideas, so we're looking forward to hearing from you about that. So that's probably all we need to say about that. Frog tails, if you're thinking about SewOver50 frog tails, of course have them. I mean, just nothing changes out in the real world. We would then, if you contacted us, we could even advertise on the account, because it would just, if it was in sleeping mode. But I think we've pretty much covered everything there, Judith, do you think?
I think so,
laboring on and reaching for the tissues?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I hope.
So if you want to, if you're interested, I mean, I can't keep an eye on the notes, but Maria's keeping an eye on that. But there's a couple of people said, anything we can do to help. So anybody who's any of those offers, if you send us a DM, a direct message, as well as putting comments in here. So yeah, Sandy, that's I think you've covered.
I mean,
you've covered everything.
You mightn't step up, but you might have ideas that we can take forward. So yeah, we're open to suggestions. It's just completely a clean slate at the moment. We'll be writing all over it and see which way ahead we're going to go. So we'll draw a line under that one, Judith, and move on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm sure there'll be further.
Now, yes, the SewOver50 live will continue with Molly and Bird because we're going through till the end of March. So they're much more confident with us on live.
At live, yeah.
We still have to save this at the end. Oh my God, fingers crossed. So they'll be around, and they've got some great guests coming up. So that's terrific. That's Bird, who's at Yoga Bird Sews, and Molly at Mike and Molly's house. So they'll be there. And of course, Sew Organised Style, which is run by Maria Villo Sews, who's coming in later. That sits outside of the account, and Maria already has a big following on podcasts and all the others out there, as well as being within Instagram. So that will continue. Now, moving forward in the next 2 months, we are looking at making sure that we leave a legacy. And one of the things that people say to us when we get interviewed, and we do a lot of interviews, we've done quite a few magazines and so forth, and we've certainly got a bit better than when we started. Anyway, what they say is, have you made a difference? Now, anecdotally, we can say we've got a marvellous community. We are out there in numbers now. And I remember when I started, I hardly saw an older person who sewed. You sort of clung to a few people out there and thought, oh, there's one. We have a whole army of people out there now. So we can say anecdotally that we've made a difference in being noticed on the social media, being put in magazines and so forth. But we don't know if we've made a difference where we ultimately first started and was our number one main purpose before we started, and that was to be noticed by pattern companies. So what we're doing is a study, and Judith is running the research study. So I'll give that back to Judith now to talk about that.
Okay, yeah. So through, we've been thinking about doing this for a while to get some facts about whether things have changed or not out there. So currently I'm doing a study going through, sorry, I'll just go back. We've always tried to encourage pattern brands to be less ageist by being positive about those who do include us. So in the SewOver50 Visible Challenge that we've run a couple of times, we celebrate the pattern brands that do include us, and we ask you to make a pattern that has an older model on the cover or the main image for the pattern. So that's how we've done it, rather than sort of naming and shaming those who haven't. We've tried to be positive and encourage. And there has been some shift, and behind the scenes we have quietly gone to brands and said, come on, could you include some older people in on your feed and in your patterns? Doing that, we've maybe had, I think, maybe a little bit of a shift, but a lot of people, we've seen tokenism or no change at all, or they've said they will, but then they don't. And so I'm going through, I won't go into too much detail about what I'm doing, but I'm going through 2022 Instagram feeds from brands and looking at the feed and looking at our representation of older people amongst the, there's been great changes in pattern sizing and models that have used, but we don't see a lot of change in having older people. And we intersect all those communities. All the communities out there are in our community, so there's no excuse, if you want to have different sizes or whatever, we have all that in our community. So there's no excuse not to include us. And as I'm gathering facts from that, and at the end of March or early April, we'll do a post and a blog about the results of what we found. And that's one of the things I was going to say there. Oh yes, I've been doing it for about a week now, and as I've been scrolling through, it's such a difference when you scroll through an account that has all younger people an account that has mixed. I just feel it feels so different. It just feels different scrolling through, and it just feels so much better when there's variety in there. Yes. So that's what I'm finding, and that's what I'm sort of doing in the background at the moment, leading up to doing the blog and the post towards at the end of March or early April. Have I explained all that, Sandy?
I think that's right. I think Judith's shown me a few of the stats, and I was surprised at one of them. It's the largest one out there, and I went 3.5. Wow, I'm surprised it's that much.
So I'm doing a percentage. Working out a percentage from the amount of people, faces, bodies on the account. What percentage of them that we classify as sort of over 50? We look at sort of over 45, over 50. And some of the percentages are so low, and some are much better. A couple of really good ones so far. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yes. Well, when you mentioned that one, I said 3.5. I'm so surprised. Wow. And then Judith said, yes, but that's just under 97% that we're not represented. And I went, oh, hell, that's terrible. That's awful.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be a bit of an eye-opener, and it's from January 1 last year to December the 31st, 2022. And we are erring on probably being a little bit magnanimous, generous. We'll send photos and go, check this one out. Do you think 50? And to be quite honest, at the end of this year, I've realised I'm entering my seventh decade, my seventh decade. And of course, when you're getting near 70, 50-year-olds look darn young. So, but we are erring and probably giving them the benefit of the doubt, but some of the stats are quite good and some of them are quite appalling. And yet our community keep diligently hashtagging them and advertising for them, and they have absolutely no urge to include us on patterns or on their grid. So this will give a definitive answer as to who is practicing inclusivity with older sewists. And as Judith said, that will be published and that will be there for you to peruse and make up your own mind. Anything else, Judith, on that one?
Don't think so. I don't think so. Molly just said, because we're also looking at pattern launches from last year as well. New patterns and what models have been used for that. And I noticed Molly just said if we need any help, I might ask for some help with that, because I'm looking through it generally, and then I'd have to go back and look at the pattern. So we might ask for some help with doing that actually.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay, Sandy.
If you concentrate on the grid, and then they can go back and look. And of course, all the launches are on the grid. So to verify that it's the last year, we'll see it there. So I've just read one comment, sorry. Someone said there are pattern companies that I've stopped mentioning and tagging because they don't show over 50 models. And you know what, I can understand that. There's a level of frustration because the companies seem to be on board with all groups now, gender, ethnicity, size. Size has just exploded. Companies are really
it's great. That's great.
Having an older model seems to be an add-on instead of an inclusion. So why can't you have a sew over 50 plus, not just sew over 50? And mind you, not a sew over 50 with long grey hair and tall and thin, please.
Or not always. Not always.
Some of them are models who've just got more beautiful as they grow older. Anyway, I love them.
Actually, there's a couple of pattern companies. There's one pattern company that I haven't bought from for years, but there's one of their patterns that I really, really like. But I said, I'm not buying it. I'm going to make that dress out of other patterns that I've got. And there's another pattern company as well that produce some great patterns. But I don't always stick to that with some other pattern companies that haven't been very good at representation. But there's some that I thought, no, I'm not spending my money on that account, on that brand.
Yes, I think we've got to get over the notion of companies seeing us as an add-on and not an inclusive model that they should be practicing. So, bearing that in mind, we are going back to our roots, and our first ever challenge was in 2019, and I think it was March 2019.
Yeah, so.
Judith and I were so nervous launching this one.
Yeah.
And it was our first SewOver50 visible challenge. So it's SO50 visible, and we use that tag all the time with our SewOver ageism and our other tags, so in community and so inclusive. This is going to be a new challenge in March, and it's the same model again. We're asking our supporters to either make or pull out of your cupboard one of a garment that has been made that displays a model, a mature model on the pattern cover. So it doesn't have to be a new sew. What we're asking for is a new photo. So it'll be a SewOver50 reworn, or you might want to find a pattern company that's being really innovative and including older models and make one of those. So that's going to be our sort of, it's not going to be a swan song, we don't know yet. We won't get too sad. That's going to be our project challenge in March, and we'd love so many of you to join in. If you can't, then cheer from the sidelines. And that tag is SO50 visible 23, and that will appear in our notes underneath when I finish this video live, and you'll be able to see that. So this video will appear there as first. So we'd love you to start thinking about future plans for March. There's a couple of big challenges coming up there, so don't forget us, and we look forward to you participating in that. That'll be
and we've got, remember, we've saved a lot of the patterns, Sandy, in the
that's right. Yes, good thinking. Good thinking, 99. Yes, we've got a lot of patterns saved. If we put them in stories and they've been a not mature model on a pattern cover, we have saved them in our story highlights. So we might rejig those, put a new pattern, now that we know how to do, put a new cover on the story, and bump it up to the front so people can start having a look for those there. So that will help you a lot by not having to go through everything. So they're broken into tops, dresses, pants, jackets, that sort of thing. So we'll bump that up at the front of our stories.
And as Sandy said, you don't have to sew something new, but we'd like a new photo. So if it's something you've already sewn that is a pattern with an older model, you can bring that out and take a new photograph. Or if there's a new pattern come out that with an older model that you fancy sewing, that you've got time and you've got the fabric and everything, then you can join in with a new garment, but whichever way.
Yeah, and the entry actually has to include the photo of the pattern model. So and so an exciting little challenge came from that, and that's called Pose Like the Pattern Model. So if you want to pose like the pattern model, we've got a hashtag for that as well, which is always a bit of fun when you see that. So you could have your photo on the first slide and then the pattern on the next slide, or you could combine the two, whatever. Yeah. However you like. I mean, we're loosey-goosey with our rules. We just love people participating, and you can start doing some research for that now. So that's going to be a good one. I hope you'll like that, and hope you will join in. Now, I'm going to ask Maria to join us now, because I'll just see if she's there.
Or she could put a request to join. I don't know where
Maria,
that is.
if you could put in a request now. I'll see if I can see her there. And Maria's been going through the comments and will be joining us. Of course, Maria runs Velo Sews. I'll put a request out to Maria, and we'll just see what's happening there. So, organised style, I'll put an invite.
Because the annoying thing with this, all the little comments that come up on the bottom, you can't save those. So when you're doing the live, it's hard to keep an eye on them. And I've seen one or two go past, but I've not seen many. So Maria's been keeping an eye on those, and they don't get saved. When we save the live, they don't get saved. So which is a bit annoying, because I'd like to read them all. Oh, here she is.
Oh, that's right. There's Maria.
Hello. Can you
hear me? Yeah, you can hear you.
Yeah. We've done it, Judith.
You've done it.
Okay, so Maria, how are you going there?
I'm still typing. There've been some really great comments, and you've called out some of the really good ones for people who are asking to help, asking to, the companies that have provided visibility, what sort of companies, what criteria people should focus on for the research that you're doing, Judith. So that came, you mentioned it too. So I got, that was Molly Sows, Molly _Sows. So there's been a lot of supportive comments.
Thank you.
Andrew Sofirth, Marie Claire, she said hello from Australia. Diane Nitz, good morning from Dublin and congratulations. Look, this is going over a couple of pages. So Pillow Parlour, Claire Weiss Sows, Katrina Swanson, Bricolage DK. Lots and lots of conversation. Do you want some of the particulars where, like, so much to say, said anything I can help with, ?
Yes, well, if you've got their names, then we can possibly get back to those, Maria, but that would be fab. That's why we appreciate you coming on like this, because as you say, we cannot keep up with comments while we're talking. We're just too busy yabbering on.
Yeah.
No. And look, there's a lot of support. A lot of people totally understand. I mean, Elke, she totally understands, what you've done, and, that you're giving us the tools and courage to step up in this community and help take it forward, with lots of love as well. And
you know what, that's really encouraging, because when we started, we didn't know very much. And every time we learned something on Instagram, we put out an Instagram tip, because we figured if we didn't know, there are people out there who don't know. And I think that Instagram tips have really, really helped us along. It teaches, well, we taught ourselves and then taught others. And, in the early days, it was like, oh, I'm not going to use stories. And now we're talking reels and videos.
So sure who's Helen. Like, all of these names that keep coming up, I actually know the people because I've been following them. And this is the work that you've both been doing for, 45,000 followers, knowing those people.
We know a lot of people.
Initially, that you have to do what's right for you, safe in the knowledge that you've given us a wonderful gift.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's lovely. That's lovely.
Who's that from?
So sure, Helen.
Oh, Helen.
Oh, yeah.
What a doll, Helen. Thank you. Yeah.
Lots of really supportive comments. Would you like me to read them all?
No, that's fine.
No, you
can tell us afterwards.
No, that's good. As long as there weren't any probing questions that we can deal with.
Yeah. So, are there any questions about the details of the plan or anything? No. Probably not, because people are probably only just gathering their thoughts about it.
Jen, who's Generates, she said that, when it comes to visibility and patterns, she's actually modelling for a new pattern for Emporia later this month. So I think that's a good step forward.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. That's what we want to hear. Yep.
Yeah.
Top Stitch Edit, thank you for all your time and efforts and for teaching me. That's Top Stitch Edit.
Yeah.
And so many other late Instagram adopters how to use it. And they say, enjoy everything that you do, with big hearts.
Yes,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Haven't we done so well? Because we are late adoptees to this, and yet sometimes we're teaching the younger ones how to use it. We've gained so much with it. So.
Yes.
I know I'm teaching my kids how to use it.
Bev Walden, I think her name is. She said, thank you very much for all you've done, and she quite understands, but she's sad too, and she had a big heart.
Okay.
Yeah. I know how you feel, Bev.
Yeah. We feel it as well. Yeah.
Star Sam said, I hope you can find a way to keep things going. I'm using Instagram to help me get my confidence back after a long break from sewing. And there are some great people here, and it is a real community. So, that's...
Yes, and there is a real community out there, and I think that's the great thing about SewOver50 is there's so many of us, but there's so many generous people who reach out and help people and connect. And so, yeah, it's just been a really lovely experience for Judith and I. Never expected it in the beginning, never expected us to grow this big.
No.
Yeah.
It's
very, very heartwarming. Yeah, and that's why our head and heart are conflicting, because know how much we do love the community and a lot of respect for the community and the amazing experience that they bring to us. I mean, Judith and I have always said we're just ordinary sewers. There's always
we're not. Our sewing isn't up there with many of the sewers on this account. No. It's more about the community.
That's right. That's right.
So Judith, Tina Bricolage DK has also come up with a comment now saying, could we as a community individually contact the packing companies telling them about this challenge?
I think that's a super idea.
It is, because some people have done that in the background, haven't they? Recently somebody contacted, and they contacted a couple of pattern companies and to say, I think she was offered a patent to I can't remember the story, but people, if going behind this, going direct to patent companies and asking politely, well, that's our way, isn't it, Sandy?
Yes.
Why could you be more inclusive?
We were probably too polite, Judith. We didn't rattle the cages enough, and but I think, sometimes, I don't know, I think politeness works. I always go back to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who said, bleed like others will want to follow. And I think you push a lot of people away if you are aggressive. And I think we just need to change people's mindset, pattern companies' mindset. And it's a learning curve, because ageism isn't just within the sewing community, it's right.
No. Oh, yeah.
And I think it's, I'm thinking, wouldn't it be great if we just solve the worldview on ageism just from starting in a sewing community? Wouldn't that be great? We just generated this scene.
But there's also a lot of people out there challenging the ageism thing, isn't there? There's quite a lot of accounts on Instagram, not in the sewing world, that are challenging ageism in fashion, more in fashion, I suppose. And there's a lot. Yeah.
Read out one comment. It's from Black_Tulip Sews.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if people have read it, but oh, okay. A potential customer base of 45,000 sales is not an add-on.
No. Yeah.
Actually, you would have met Elaine. She's Black Tulip Sews, who is the vintage sewer, and she was at Frocktails in Edinburgh.
Yes, she was. Yeah.
Oh gosh, we know so many people just by their handles.
Oh, I know we do. I just wanted to say, actually, when I'm doing this research, I am taking account that some brands only use themselves as models. So we understand, and some brands' Instagram account is a sort of personal account as well as. So we do, we're not being harsh. We understand how different companies work, and smaller companies can't always have the same approach, but there is room to include sewers, to share some of the mate. Anyway, we are being fair.
Yeah. And we've actually got a column for notes, so that it might be that the pattern owner only uses herself as the model, and so that will be in there. And of course, the smaller companies can't afford the models or whatever. So, and some pattern companies use drawings.
Yes. So So that.
Okay, so I think just round things off, we've discussed.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks, Maria.
Thanks, Maria. Stay there.
Yeah. Stay there. Yeah, don't go away.
There's so
yes. Keep an eye on the comments. And Maria, you do such. I love the podcast. I love all the work you do, and that's It's just so good to get to know people more in depth. Who we know on the account. It's just great. Yeah.
And I love it because I have such a poor sense of concentration that 20 minutes is just ideal for me.
It is ideal. Yeah.
20 to 30 minutes.
It's all people from the sewing community. It's not me, them.
No, but you get them on there. Now, so do you have anything else to add, Maria and Judith, before I close?
No.
Okay, because I've got the X button here I have the power. Just to give a recap of what we discussed, we talked about the mini challenge, which is happening, which is the SO50 mini me. Don't make up any hashtags, please, because I've got another 100 that aren't under the right tag. So I'm just trying to remind you about the right tag. Judith talked about the options that we're doing to look forward, and that we're looking at stepping back and possibly finding a team or putting it in sleep mode for a while. And that's options that we'll be exploring up till the end of March. Then the SewOver50 Live will continue till at least then with Molly and Bird, and Organised Style will continue anyway because that sits outside and also has a large following outside of us. Judith is doing a study and looking at the inclusive practices of pattern companies, and we didn't say the number, but we actually have over 100 companies. And so it's not a small task that Judith is undertaking. And we also, with them, have them an order of how many followers they have. And I announced that we would be doing the SewOver50 Visible 23, which is to make a garment or use a garment that you already have that has a pattern that has used an older model. So that's SewOver50 Visible 23, and we'll be releasing that in the next week. Just to let you know and give people a heads up about the people who haven't watched this. And yes, that's it. I think we've done well, haven't we?
Yeah, well done. Well done for getting all the technical side done, Sandy.
Oh, I haven't finished yet.
You've got to switch it off and save it. Yeah.
I've got to save it and put it up. Okay. So bear with me for that, and that will go up there. So thanks everybody who has joined us today. We really appreciate that, and we'll be in touch about what is happening. It's business as usual until it's not business as usual, and we'll let you know what's happening in the meantime. So thanks very much. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Judith. And
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.